Welcome everyone. I'm excited to welcome you to today's presentation. We're going to explore the fascinating topic of Tafsir of Mutazilites. This is the first slide, so I just want to briefly introduce what we'll be covering. We'll look into the beliefs and interpretations of the Mutazilites and understand their impact on Islamic thought. Let's get started. Today, I want to talk about the Mutazilite scholars, who were known as rationalists. They interpreted the Quran in ways that supported their own unique and often unorthodox ideas. These ideas had never been expressed by early scholars, whether from the Sahaba, the Tabi'un, or their students. Many of their early tafsirs, or exegeses, were lost over time. We only know about them through references made by their contemporaries. Their method of tafsir is generally considered to be of very poor quality, what some call tafsir bid-duraya of the worst kind. This approach is characterized by a total disregard for the opinions of the early mufassirs, the classical scholars of tafsir. It also dismisses the traditional lexical meanings of the Quranic words, which are essential for understanding the text properly. What we have left today are only brief reviews of the Mutazili-oriented tafsirs that managed to survive the passage of time. Many others have been lost, and our knowledge of them comes mostly from secondary references. It's important to recognize that their approach to tafsir was quite different from the orthodox method, often leading to interpretations that stray far from traditional understandings. So, in summary, the Mutazilites' tafsirs are notable for their innovative but controversial approach, their neglect of classical opinions, and their overall impact on the history of Quranic interpretation. This helps us better understand the diversity of thought within Islamic scholarship and the importance of adhering to authentic methods of tafsir. Let's take a closer look at Tafsir, Abdul Jabbar al-Hamdani, a notable work by a prominent Mutazili scholar. Abdul Jabbar ibn Ahmad al-Hamdani, who passed away in 1024 CE, was not only a judge in Rai, but also a respected author in Usul al-Fiqh and other Islamic sciences. His most well-known historical work is Dalil an-Nubuwah, which provides proofs of the prophethood. Now, when we consider his tafsir, it's important to understand its scope. Unlike some tafsirs that try to explain every verse in detail, his focus is mainly on the controversial and ambiguous verses. The goal here was to interpret those verses in a way that challenges certain Sunni perspectives, often to refute them. This tafsir begins with Surah Al-Fatiha and ends with Surah An-Nas, covering the entire Quran, but many chapters and verses are left unexplained. The organization of the book is quite interesting. It's built around specific issues, presenting a problem, and then offering a solution. This makes the tafsir not just a commentary, but also a tool for understanding how these verses relate to theological debates. Understanding this context helps us see how Mutazilite tafsirs like this one contributed to different interpretations of the Quran, especially concerning theological issues. It also reminds us of the diversity of approaches within Islamic scholarship and the importance of considering these perspectives critically in our overall understanding of the Quran. Let's delve into the tafsir of Sharif Murtada, which is quite unique in its approach. He authored this work through 80 lessons, covering tafsir, hadith, and literature. Because of how he delivered these lectures, the tafsir earned the nickname Amali Sharif al-Murtada, or the Dictations of Sharif Murtada. It's important to note that this tafsir doesn't cover the entire Quran. Instead, it focuses on selected passages that help establish the fundamental principles of the Mutazili school of thought. What makes his approach particularly interesting is how he interprets verses that might seem to contradict Mutazili beliefs. He uses linguistic and analytical methods to neutralize these apparent contradictions, often providing unorthodox explanations. In essence, this tafsir has a heavily linguistic and analytical slant, aiming to support Mutazili doctrines through selective interpretation. Understanding this helps us see how tafsir can be used not just to explain the text, but also to reinforce specific theological viewpoints. It also highlights the importance of examining the methods and perspectives behind different tafsirs when studying the Quran and its various interpretations. Welcome to this final slide, where we focus on the Tafsir of Az-Zamakhshari, a renowned scholar from the 11th and 12th centuries. Az-Zamakhshari, whose full name is Mahmud ibn Umar Az-Zamakhshari, was a Hanafi scholar who studied extensively in Baghdad and Khorasan. He authored many works, covering Arabic literature, grammar, Usul al-Fiqh, and Hadith commentary. Despite his clear Mutazili leanings, his Tafsir is widely regarded as a literary masterpiece. What makes his Tafsir particularly remarkable is his detailed explanation of the miraculous aspects of the Quran. He delved into its rhyme, rhythm, and eloquence, providing some of the most comprehensive discussions on these qualities. Az-Zamakhshari's mastery of Arabic allowed him to interpret the Quran through a Mutazili lens, which means he sometimes used allegorical interpretations for verses that conflicted with his theological fundamentals. His approach to legal issues in the Tafsir was generally brief and unbiased, and he notably avoided using Isra'iliyat, or stories from Jewish traditions, which some other Tafsirs might include. Overall, his Tafsir reflects a unique blend of linguistic mastery and theological perspective, offering insights that are valuable both for understanding the Quran's literary beauty and for appreciating the Mutazili approach to interpretation.